by the fire, hear the tale of 5 steadfast adventurers as they explore the mysterious isles of Doctor. Join us on the Swordcast Adventures.
Previously on the Swordcast Adventures, we spent the evening on the floor in the common room in Cadia's hut. I couldn't stop thinking about the night before. The people of Timberdeep had all come to meet us and share their gratitude for the help we provided their families and friends in Elmdeep. They were all so thankful. It was very overwhelming, seeing all the smiling faces that were just so happy to see that we had helped someone they loved. I don't know what it's all for, but I must say, it was nice finally getting to see that the things we are doing are helping someone. We collected our things and said our goodbyes. From what we've been told, it should only be about a half-day's travel to meet this timber. Early in the day, we came across this strange patch of mushrooms. While giving them a look over, Grimtuck was pulled into them and pulled underground. We were able to get Grimtuck back, but shortly thereafter I fell prey to these annoying creatures and was held inside of one while my friends were assaulted. Yet again, I was helpless in guarding the ones I was sent to protect. Why does this keep happening? Why aren't you helping me?
You now all stand here just after this odd plant-based combat. Amelia, nowhere to be found deep in the woods. A scream can be heard. Teak flies off to see what she can see, and now a small red pseudo-dragon
Fairy dragon.
flits above your head.
I'm not gonna cheat.
It's a fairy dragon.
It is a fairy dragon. Flits above your head. And so, Elduin, as you are looking through Teak's eyes, would you roll me a perception check?
Yes.
And Amelia, during your scream, what did you do?
Screamed.
Thank you.
17 on the perception.
Sweet. Are you like kneeling? Are like what?
When does Teak's perception check start?
I would say it would take him a couple moments to like fly out to you to find
After hearing me scream?
Yeah.
So
Post scream.
So by the time Teak finds Amelia has wandered off a little ways, and as I said before, she had deactivated the fire that surrounds her and constantly burns her. By the time Teak finds her, Amelia is down on her knees on the ground, hunched over, holding her staff like across her lap, but like with both hands, and they are just gripping her staff so hard that her knuckles are turning white, and Teak can just see this immense amount of a combination of multiple different feelings. There's fear and anger and frustration, and when he finds her, Amelia's on her knees in front of a tree that just has multiple gouges taken out of it where she had beat it with her staff, and she just kind of like huddles over and isn't quite like crying, but she's talking to herself and says, "Why aren't you helping me? Why is this happening? Why am I always the first one to go? You're supposed to help me protect them. Why aren't you helping me?"
Teak's gonna fly down and land on the ground, like within Amelia's like field of view, and just kind of like sit there and like stand there for a moment and just kind of look at Amelia, and then like do a little owl hop over and like try to like put a claw on Amelia's hand.
Okay.
In a friendly way.
So
Here, take a talon in a friendly way.
Amelia, as you sit there, you hear the soft hoot of your companion's owl kind of try to nestle up next to you. And then you feel this odd sensation. A pressure on your opposite shoulder. Like a hand gripping it. But a sensation of calm is felt. It may not go over you, but you feel it through this. You feel warmth you were not expecting. And for just a moment, you swear you hear almost the flap of wings in your ears before it's gone. But you notice that where the gouge was there before your eyes, it now stands as almost this shield cut into it. It seems as though it had been changed just enough, just slightly. You didn't slash at it with your staff to make a symbol. You didn't try to carve this in, but somehow now these breaks in the bark look like a shield.
Metolius would have been trying to find her.
I would say it'd probably take you a little bit longer than Teak. So by this point, you see this coming from your perspective. You just see Amelia sitting there, Teak at her side, just kind of shaking a little bit. Would you be saying anything after that?
Once I noticed the shield, I would say, what does this mean? Why am I here? Why aren't you telling me? It's been weeks. All I've done is fall before them. Again and again. And
listening.
what is it for? Why have you brought me here? None of this makes sense. Am I to be your sacrifice? What is this?
A soft crack of a twig underneath Metolius's boot rings out behind you.
She would turn around suddenly.
We don't always get the answers that we're seeking. Sometimes we just have to have faith and do what is bidden of us, and answers will come in time.
She turns her head back to the tree and just stares at the symbol that's now carved into the bark and says,
Do I see the symbol?
Roll me a perception check.
Dungeon Master, do I see it? Not with that garbage roll, but that one was better. 21.
You notice slashes, but you don't see a shield.
I just see slash marks
You just see a few breaks in the wood.
where she hit it with her staff.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
She turns back and looks at it and says, I don't even know where to put my faith. I don't know where it comes from. I don't know if that's even what to call it.
You notice something else, Amelia, as you're looking towards the shield. As though sand falling from a hand. You notice 5 small circles almost being carved like in front of you into the shield. In the shape, you could point it in the shape of like a star, the 5 points. But they set in and you see dust fall from them. But now The shield is adorned with 5 nodes.
I still don't see any of that.
No.
I guess at that point you would see Amelia kind of like freeze up for a second. And even though I guess if you could see her with her mask on, her eyes would widen a little bit.
I'm standing behind you while you're looking at the tree.
Oh,
so.
then yeah, so you wouldn't see that then.
Yeah.
She would just kind of like watch. She would just be like looking at where she had put these gouges in the tree, and after seeing that complete, she would kind of like tilt her head and scoot forward and go to reach her hand out and like just place her hand across the gouges, and in that same like voice of frustration, what does it mean?
As you place your hand upon the tree, you don't feel this shape. It feels weird. It feels rough. It feels raw. It feels broken.
It doesn't feel carved in the places that I
No.
touch. And she would just like leave her hand on the like trunk of the tree, and just like her head would just like slump down.
Tika's gonna nip her arm.
Deke nips your arm.
She would like shudder and jump like slightly.
Just like not like any damage. Just like
yeah, no, she would just be like surprised
Yeah,
from
yeah,
it
yeah.
because she's just so like wrapped up in what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
I think you should give it some time. Some of us who were meant to serve do not come into service in such ways that I did.
She would turn and look at you and say, I don't know what I'm meant to serve.
Did you speak with the unicorn? Was Elwyn able to help you?
She takes a deep breath and releases it and says, He helped me. He helped me talk to who I think has brought me to you all. But they still didn't tell me why I'm here. They didn't tell me why it's you. They didn't tell me why we fight the fight that we are engaged in. They only said that I'll know when they feel it's necessary.
Can you not see that the fight they have us in, they have you in, our fight, is a righteous cause to save the world from never-ending darkness? To be the light? What more explanation do you need?
I do see that. But to be the light, you have to be able to fight. And I feel that I haven't been able to. I feel like every time we're given the chance to fight, I'm the first to be quelled. I'm supposed to protect you. That's why they told me I'm here. They told me I'm to save you all. And all that's happened is a lot of you have saved me.
That's what we do. That's how we stay alive. That's how we have gotten as far as we've gotten. Maybe if we were better at it, Loud Scout would still be alive. But he's not.
I also feel like that's my fault too. They showed me him. They told me I was supposed to protect him along with the rest of you,
There's no way
and I couldn't.
any of that is your fault. It's the dungeon master's fault. No, I'm just kidding.
If those ruffians hadn't captured me, I should have been there in time. I should have been there in time.
Don't despair. That is not the way to be the light. Despair leads to darkness. Maybe you are meant to protect us, but maybe you are not meant to do battle for us. Grimtuck and I can take a hit just as well as any other seasoned warrior. You can protect people from afar.
Not if I'm dead.
Well, stay afar and you are less likely to be dead. Your powers of healing are quite extraordinary. I don't think you should discount yourself. Clearly, you are filled with the radiant energy of things that are good and holy.
Why? Why do I have it?
Why do I have it? Happenstance. I didn't choose this. It happened. If not, I would have died years ago I would have been eaten by trolls. I'd be dirt in the ground.
And your goddess has been watching you ever since.
Yes.
I've only been here a couple weeks.
Perhaps in time you
the
will...
only time I've heard this voice. I don't even know where I came from. How I got here.
How do you know you've never heard the voice before, then, if you don't even know how you got here? I think you need to discover where you came from, learn of your past, and that is how you move forward. Knowledge is power. And with that power, we can stop this creature, this Father Limmick.
She kind of like brings her hand up and like brushes her hair back, like off of her
Is your mask on?
face.
Oh.
Yeah, her mask is on. And she's...
I'm gonna like crouch down in front of her and just like look at her dead in the eyes.
You're right, knowledge is it's the power.
I'm going to reach...
I just feel so powerless. Because I feel like my knowledge is all but missing.
Well, then we need to figure out how to get it back. Whether this amnesia was by accident or by design of the being you serve, I don't know. But once you know who you are, and Metolius is gonna reach out and lift the mask slowly.
The DM's in.
She would definitely shudder as you reach out to touch it.
You'll slowly lift it up onto her head.
And
Once
she
you
would
know
kind of like sheepishly like keep her eyes like looking down to where she doesn't make eye contact with you.
I'll like move my head to make eye contact with her.
Okay.
Once you know who you are, you won't have to hide behind a mask. You can let your radiant soul shine and burn away the darkness. Then he stands up and he offers his hand.
Okay.
When he does that, Amelia's gonna look up and look him in the eyes and say, "It does need to be burnt away. This world can't survive. Shrouded in the dark that's coming.
We agree on something.
And then she'll put her arm out and take his and stand up.
We'll look out for each other. And that way no one will fall. And we'll protect each other. Because that's what we do.
Amelia, as you stand up with Metolius and you kind of collect yourself from this whole situation, you look back. And out of the corner of your eye, you see a small tail slither into the underbrush and away. And then you look back at the tree, and it is just the pockmarks from your staff. No shield, no nodes, no anything. It's just that tree.
Do I see a tail?
Roll a perception check. Let's just go with what's your passive perception?
My passive perception is 15.
You do not see a tail. I gotta change it on this thing.
Deke's gonna like stretch his wings, flap a little bit, like make a little cooey noise, and then like fly up into the trees and out of sight.
Yes, we're on our way.
You've
been warging through that guy the whole time.
You don't know.
I know.
Back at with the others. The small dragon-like creature just kind of flits around and kind of looks at you all. He goes, where did they go?
Why is it talking?
And is it in common?
What are you?
I just double check that I can never remember what they know.
I sort of thought it was still with me, but I never said anything about it. So
I think you just walked away.
That's fair.
that seems uncharacteristic of me, but
You're leaving it with other people.
It's a private moment. You don't bring your
That's
new
what I do
sentient
with-
pet.
dude, that's what I do with
True.
my other pets in other campaigns.
It is. He will leave them behind for weeks at a time.
I'm the one that has to bear the guilt if it dies in combat. I'm not gonna have another sprinkle nugget situation on my hands.
It is trying to. You all hear it say these again very elegant words, but neither of you two understand what it's saying.
I do.
Sylvan.
Yep,
Yeah,
I do.
You do, and so does Metolius. And
But he's not.
But Metolius isn't there.
I know.
It's just you.
So you hear, but then you two hear. It is not in common, to answer your question. So you two hear it saying in Sylvan, which you would understand.
But if you're warging through it, you wouldn't.
You're not totally wrong.
Mm-hmm. But I haven't.
I know
told
you didn't
any
ever
of
say
you.
anything. I know. I'm just saying.
So on the grounds that possibly Eldwins understand this and possibly not, it's just asking where do they go? Where do we go? Where are we? It's kind of flitting around. No one's seemingly responding. It's just kind of looking a little confused.
Elduin does not respond.
Yeah, Rain. Just like, why is it talking? What are we doing with this thing?
I have no idea. I've never
Go.
seen one of these things before.
Go. Just go fly away. Fly. Shoot.
Would you roll an animal handling or an intimidation check? Either way.
I would. I mean, I don't. Okay, I'll do.
If you're actually
Grimtuck may have heard us say that we were going to
If you're
take
actually
him
trying
with
to-
us. You might have heard that. I don't know.
I'm just
what are you doing?
animal handling.
Okay.
16.
And are you trying to shoot it?
Not. Yeah, just away from me.
Okay. Then you just kind of like brush it away, and it kind of gets the hint and just starts like flitting about, seemingly looking for
Like
Metolius.
it's a bat. It's a butterfly. It's a kind of a lizard thing. Right?
Yeah?
What the fuck is that?
I don't know. It's
Why-
kind of cute.
Why did we bring it back from the dead?
Good question.
Good question.
Because it's what Metolius would do.
Did you see a bunch of fucking like diamonds just disappeared?
Yeah.
Like you just are we just gonna throw money at dead shit and then it comes back? Is that how it works?
I guess so.
What the fuck?
I will.
At least
I guess
for Metolius.
Elduin is gonna chime in at this point and say, "'Tis a fantastical creature from another dimension. It is not something that we should just let lie."
What do you mean? It could just what? What do you mean not let lie? It's not lying. It's flying around.
It is an expression.
What does it mean?
Let it die. Let it expire without our assistance.
So let lie. You could just say let die, like we shouldn't let it die.
Anyways,
Hey, I
it
got
might
these
have
scrolls.
good. It might.
got these scrolls.
It might.
You want to check these out?
It might have insights. It might be. It might know things. I'm saying all of this in common.
Yeah,
which
no.
I'm pretty sure the fairy dragon doesn't speak.
What's it gonna know? It's got wings, butterfly wings. It doesn't even have, it doesn't have like connections. It doesn't know anybody here. What's it gonna know?
It's not even a real dragon.
Yeah, it's not from around here. It's gonna know shit, other dimension stuff.
Yeah, things which you can't even comprehend.
I guess you don't want these scrolls. And put it back in the bag of holding.
Wait, sorry. Wait.
Well, that's where they live now.
This is scroll extortion.
Yeah, that's where they live now.
Wait. Let me see those.
What are you gonna do for me?
What do you want?
I don't know. Like, fuck. I got nothing.
No,
I don't
I
have a
will
follow-up
not.
for that. No, what? No. Anyways, here, I just hand you this. Reach back in, like, full arm length, and just give it, like, an extra 2 seconds of just staring, and I'm like, fine. Just hand him over. And I hand you 3 scrolls.
At this point, the fairy dragon disappears.
Like bamf or flies off?
It is nowhere. It was right in front of you for a moment. It's no longer there.
Probably
you did not
for
see
the
it fly
best.
off.
I probably am too busy grabbing scrolls to notice. What are the scrolls?
Let's see.
Where did we get these again?
Got
I
them from
found
the
them
bottom
in
of
the-
this.
The bottom of the ditch.
Right.
Bottom of the ditch.
Sweet.
Corpse
Yeah.
scrolls.
Ditch scrolls.
It's scrolls. They are ready. They are a cantrip of lightning lore.
Lightning lore?
Are you saying you identified them?
Oh, I was just picking them up and attempting to read them at first. I haven't identified them yet, but we can also skip forward to that because as soon as we short rest, I will be.
Oh, I will be.
He just kind of lights up when you put paper in front of him. You ever notice that, Rain? Like,
I'd say you could read them as long as you, in the sense of you're not reading them out loud. You're just like kind of looking over them. Sure. It's a scroll cantrip of lightning lore, first level chromatic orb, and first level grease.
it's like how you look when you steal stuff, or I look when I kill stuff. It's just that's what he does when he reads.
Yeah, it's
He
true.
can't even fucking hear us. He's not even paying attention. He's just staring. It's kind of adorable, really.
It's really cute, honestly.
Like,
Grimtuck,
Whoa,
An odd-
these are fantastic.
an odd
You
little
guys should read
puff
these.
of this weird sparkly mist flies in your face. I would like you to roll a wisdom saving throw.
Oh shit.
fuck is this?
Do I recognize what's happening?
You could roll a nature check for me,
I
Elder.
rolled a 7.
A 7?
Ooh.
Give me 1 sec.
I don't think he made it.
You definitely didn't make it.
Turns out wisdom barbarians aren't a thing.
Not yet.
You said nature?
Yes.
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20. You know exactly what this is. And actually,
This thing just skeeted on me.
Grimtuck, you just see Grimtuck say that. He's not even listening to me. And then he stops. His kind of jaw goes slack. And then he starts backpedaling. Just
Like literally, like starts walking backwards.
just walking backwards.
Okay, do I have my own faculties? I just am walking backwards, but
Your your arms seem to be yours, but your legs do not.
what about my mouth? Like, does my brain know?
It takes a moment, and you kind of like.
What? The fuck is this?
What are you doing?
He's about 10 feet away now.
Am I still
$1
moving?
for every time
Yeah.
my mouth wasn't mine.
I'm going to, in Sylvan, I'm going to say, Spark,
Mouth
stop
gets
it.
Me in all sorts of trouble.
The fuck is this?
And you hear this kind of like groan, and drops the invisibility. The dragon reappears, and Grimtuck's legs return to his faculties.
In Sylvan, I'm going to say he's a friend. He's a bit rough around the edges, but he is an ally of yours.
I was making friends.
What the fuck was that?
I don't feel like he will see it that way, and I'd recommend you stay out of arm's reach of him for a little while.
I will fucking pin you to a tree with a knife.
It's okay. It's
And
okay.
throw other
Actually,
knives.
It's okay.
By
It's
the
okay.
way,
In
Rain is
common,
losing
it's
it
okay. It's
right
okay.
now.
He does not understand what.
You just kind of feel like the dragon just kind of like land on your shoulders and do that whole like look around the side of your head like like over at Grimtuck.
Wait, did the little dragon do that?
Yeah, it landed on my shoulder apparently, and is like hiding behind my head. Apparently,
I believe that was Rain in game.
Yeah, no, that was raining game. Like asking you, did
Oh.
the little dragon do that?
Grimtuck is going to slowly.
I'm just
start
going to
walking
like. I'm gonna like
towards
look
Elduin.
at her and like. My eyes are going to say yes in every possible way that I can without me physically saying
That's
yes.
fair.
As I'm gonna insight you there.
So, what do you want me to roll to not be incited?
You roll deception.
All right, I'm good with that. I'm not good with that. That's another 7.
Hey, it rolled a. It rolled a 10, so that's fine. And it kind of like looks at you and kind of gathers a little bit more of what you're thinking about doing, though it didn't understand what you said. And you see its head pop behind Elwin's head and then pop up to the top, kind of look down.
Still approaching.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, just give me the fucking thing real quick.
I kind of like stand in front of Grimtuck, like.
Are we
but-
there? Are we there yet?
I would say
Put a
you're
hand on your
still
chest.
you're
I'm
you,
not gonna
this,
kill it. I promise.
This will have happened about the same time as you two talking, so this is about the time you start walking back,
Okay.
which will only take a few moments.
Need to learn some fucking manners.
I think it was just playing. It's all right.
Yeah.
You hear a little like burble up on the top of Elduin's head, and Elduin, you hear in Sylvan, he didn't like.
In Sylvan, I'm going to say, no. Typically, funny gestures like that should be reserved for those you are more familiar with in this world.
I back down after Rain kind of puts herself in between, and
You kind of see him like kind of curl around your face, and now his head kind of points like in front of your eyes, just like, I don't understand. It was funny. I laughed.
I already hate that thing.
Shit, I'm gonna have to explain this the difference between like ego and id.
You're gonna blow
Others
his brain
can-
out.
I
others
do want to
can-
be a parent.
Others
so here we
can
go.
others can experience things in a different way than you. I will literally say that in Sylvan. Do you understand? If it was funny to you and not to him, what do you think?
It was still funny.
You're not listening.
No. And you see it
Yeah, go
Tries
ahead.
to-
Try to charm me.
he tries, but nothing comes out.
I'm going to like shrug my shoulder in a way that will get him off.
And he just like flaps the wings off. Like you just like shrug off and it's like At this point, Amelia
Quit trying to get the dragon off.
and Metolius return. And can I steal Teak for just a moment? Because I think Teak would notice
Yes.
the dragon fly off your shoulder and then fly onto your shoulder in like a power move, just like, no, this is my home.
Ruffles feathers a
Yeah.
little bit.
This is from one Fae to another, so.
Yeah.
That's true.
You hear which in Sylvan means get the fuck off.
Yeah.
Hey, Amelia, I got some scrolls that I handed to Elduin. I know that makes you guys feel better.
yes.
Amelia kind of gives you like, her mask is back down, by the way.
Yeah. That's fair.
And she looks at you and just kind of like, you see her like head tilted to the side and she's like, and she kind of like shakes her head for a second as she like just grasps what you said and she's like, what do you mean? What kind of scrolls?
I don't know. I found them in the hole with the dead bodies. There's a bunch of fucking money down there too, guys. Like
Did
a
you-
lot.
Did you grab it?
Oh yeah, yeah. We're doing pretty well.
Good.
Like, that was pretty worthwhile, even though those things beat the fuck out of me. What were those, by the way?
They beat the tar out of me too.
Do I have I heard of these things before? The things that we fought?
I thought someone rolled a nature check last time. I can't remember who. I would say roll a nature check just in case.
I will also roll a
I was
nature
going to say,
check.
anyone who has been out in the woods for any amount of
I
time
am
should be able
proficient.
to.
I don't know what they were, but they were surprisingly
10.
13.
ferocious. And
Both of you have
confining.
heard of man-eating plants, of things. You've heard the term shambling mound. You assume that was something like it.
Gotcha.
Amelia, you hear a weird kind of like scratching at the top of your head, top of your mask specifically, and you just see the little head of the pseudo dragon kind of like look down.
Amelia, you want to do me a favor and hand me that thing?
Don't do
There you
it.
go.
I'm not gonna
Sorry.
hurt it. It's just gonna make it. I'm just gonna fucking put it in the bag of holding for a minute.
Don't. No.
Why,
No.
why would you want to
No.
hurt him?
I was just whispering that
hurt
to her.
it as she like reaches up to like scrooge his neck.
It fucking sprayed on me.
Yeah. Oh, man.
And you kind of
It
hear
was just being playful.
That's how we fucking
the
play
two
now.
people who can speak Sylvan hear. This one's face is weird.
Do you speak Sylvan?
Nope.
As Amelia? Yeah. It's just the two.
I-
Just the elf boys. Got it.
Sure don't.
That's not their face. That's a mask.
What's a mask?
Oh, yeah, you're right. You can speak Sylvan.
Amelia looks over at Metolius.
It's.
I believe
this is all in
in
Sylvan.
Sylvan.
Oh, then never mind.
It's.
She's just kind of like,
Oh yeah, it's definitely cooing at this point.
yeah.
It is something people wear to hide their true face.
Metolius, you should. In Sylvan.
face.
What?
They have a second face.
Their actual face. It's a falsehood.
Oh, and it kind of takes a second, and you
It's like
see
a
its little
it's like a
claws
joke
like
or a
move
trick. Yeah.
in a way, and then you see it put on Grimtuck's face over its face with minor illusion.
Yes. Yes.
Yes,
Amelia kind of
exactly
like
that.
shudders for a second.
You
It's like,
absolutely
whoa.
see that though.
Why don't you come over here and just stay on my shoulder?
Just
Metolius.
in through the nose, out through the mouth.
In Sylvan,
Yeah.
I'm going to say, Metolius, this fellow is a prankster and has rubbed Grimtuck the wrong way.
It's fucking rude to talk in languages other people can't understand and to say, I'm gonna go for a fucking walk. And I just kind of, just give like maybe 20 feet away. I just kind of walk away.
The fairy dragon like flies through the illusion, and it disappears as it does, and it kind of you hear this like light flapping of wings over your head, Amelia, as it flies around Metolius.
Can we go?
As it does, I say to Spark and Sylvan, mind your manners around him and give it some time and no tricks unless I say so, okay?
You hear it just like
We'll get you home, but you have to play by our rules.
and kind of like hunkers down and kind of wraps around one side.
And then I give it a treat. It's like a piece of ration or something. Yeah, did we get all the coinage from the trench?
I think so. It's a fuckload.
Well then, yes, let's be on our way. We still have more distance to cover before the end of the day.
Yeah.
We're gonna be there today,
Yes.
like halfway through the day.
Yes,
It's in the middle of the morning.
it is.
Yeah, it's still like early morning.
We have a few more hours before we're supposed to get there, so
Yeah. I mean, we
let's.
gotta kind of walk off some of these I don't know, bites, whips. I don't know. Gotta walk this shit off.
I reach out
I
and
would agree with you.
touch Grimtuck before he walks off, and I hold up the prayer bead of whatever it's called, curing, and I believe I cast Cure Wounds at a level that is higher than 1. I just have to remember. Oh, I got my card somewhere.
As you reach the prayer bead out, you see a little dragon's arm reach out too, as it casts Mage Hand. And it reaches out, grabs the bead, and it
The bead is attached to the necklace.
pulls at the bead. And seemingly is trying to pass it to Grimtuck.
No.
Well, it tries.
I say
it
no.
may fail.
Oh, I say no, Spark. I hold the bead and I activate it and I cast Cure Wounds on Grimtuck. And he gets 10 HP back.
I was trying to give presents. Say sorry, I hurt. Didn't mean.
Spark is sorry that he charmed you, Grimtuck.
That's great. Thanks for the. I felt better on the bite wounds.
Good.
They had dirt in them, which I thought probably would have done the trick, but that felt better.
Yeah.
That's what you usually do.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
rub some dirt in it.
Yeah.
But it
Or
already had dirt in it.
There you go.
I think dirt did it. I'm not quite sure.
So what do you rub in it if dirt does it?
This is ow.
A
I
little
don't
bit
know.
of blood runs out the side of
Fuck.
Grimtuck's ear. Just like,
I'm just gonna chalk it up to other weird shit. But thank you, Metolius. Can we just
Yeah.
get out of here?
Let's go.
Weird poison mushroom thing.
So-
place.
you continue from this point. You all gather back up. You are now much the richer and with a companion. And a few hours goes by as you travel through this wild forest.
As we're first walking, though, Rain's just gonna be like, so we gonna, like, divvy up that loot? Or, like...
I mean,
I could certainly use some coin in my pouch.
We're not just doing like it's like with just like group money. We need to like we want individual money. That's fine. I don't care. And so I'll just parse
Just,
out the loot.
like, a little weird about money.
I'm not trying to hold on to it. I don't care. We were all there. Sure. Let's parse out that money. We've got a calculator.
I can have a calculator.
What's
Alright.
a calculator?
Right.
No, that wasn't grim.
It's a
Sorry.
tiny abacus.
Are we taking a rest at any point while we walk?
You can
or-
if you guys want to.
I'd
Certainly,
say we'd
We could take a
probably,
short rest.
There was-
actually.
yeah, I would
we're
say
going
a
for
short-
hours,
I would
probably
say
short rest
you
at
probably short rested after like an hour into the walk
120
past this point.
platinum.
Because you wanted to get away from the
400 gold.
poison shrooms.
120
Yes.
times 10.
Yeah, so that's
At one point or
plus-
another, you hear Spark next
plus
to you go,
2,400.
Plus.
So what? 4,000 silver. So 400
I
gold.
assume that means food in Sylvan.
you should.
Okay.
And 800 copper, which is 8
Don't
gold.
speak to me like your child, by the
That's
way.
it.
I was
For those.
wondering.
But
Like, that
only
sounds
you.
stupid.
You asked him to sit on
5,
his shoulder. I had to take advantage of the fact.
801.
And 6.
You know, you hear it kind of
It sounds so
801, 801 gold and 6 silver to everyone.
word.
Hold on.
You hear it kind of croon in like a little melodic tone to you, like.
You said 801 gold?
And 6 silver.
And you hear little sniffs. Can I have more?
Yes, I feed him more as we walk, or as we sit here. I'm sorry, how many silver?
6.
I get distracted by it.
As we settle in to take our short rest, Amelia would ask, is everybody feeling all right from earlier?
I'm not doing too bad.
I mean, my wounds need tending.
I'm a little fucked up, but, you know, these things happen.
Can I roll an insight or something to see which one of them is worse off?
Roll
Or
a
would it be
medicine
medicine check?
Yeah.
I can do that, I guess. No, I can't. Natural 1.
It's hard to tell.
As a healer, can't tell who's hurt more.
It's hard to tell. Everyone kind of got a raw end of the deal in that situation, and you're also still kind of jarred from that whole interaction.
Then just having seen what Grimtuck went through and helping him out through the fight, I
Yep.
will.
That's a good
Grimtuck
choice.
would probably kind of like point you towards Rain or Metolius, not like dismissively. Be like, I'm fine. Believe me. It's nothing.
What you have to do is, on a scale of 1 to max,
Yeah.
how are you feeling?
Yeah.
How you
If
feeling?
Grimtuck is hurt, he doesn't show like he doesn't wince at all, but he's still like he also doesn't patch his wounds. He's just like, all right, that's a thing. But these guys, really, I'll catch it up later.
Metolius has already started to bandage his wounds.
Like points you towards like Rain.
If Grimtuck shrugs me off, then Amelia would head over towards Rain. And before we take our short rest, Amelia is going to use Cure Wounds on Rain.
Man, that was so bad.
Where did my card go? Oh no, it's not in here. Oh god.
As Spark sees Amelia's hands glow from the cure wounds on Rain, you hear in Sylvan, the two elf boys hear in Sylvan that, I can do that too, and you feel him kind of wheel around, and his tail kind of hits your chest, and then he casts dancing lights into the woods and kind of like moves him around, and you get that same like.
Very good, Spark. You did it.
I did.
Yes, you did.
I did.
There we go. Jeez, it only took 4 hit dice.
You gain 25 hit points,
Oh,
Rain.
nice. That'll put me back to full.
At that point, Amelia would also use Cure Wounds upon herself.
You also see as he claps his hands together, his little dragon paws together. You see the lights just form up into one ball and then move over. And then you see this vaguely humanoid shape that kind of is the same shape as Grimtuck, posing the exact same way that Grimtuck is.
I love that you're doing it to Grimtuck. That was fantastic.
Elduin's definitely gonna have a little snicker about that one.
I mean,
Oh,
it's a
Rain
trickster
thinks
who
this is
noticed
so
that
funny.
this bothered someone. And it's like, I'm not being mean. I didn't do it to him. It's the I'm not touching you situation.
Oh yeah.
You better hope he has more of those fucking diamonds.
It's not doing it twice, tell you what. And I do not actually have those diamonds anymore. Until we get somewhere to buy more diamonds.
They are consumed.
Unless someone else who in the party who happens to have some diamonds.
Do you audit everyone for diamonds?
No, I'm just casually mentioning that.
On the ground, not to kill his companion. I don't
Casually
have the diamonds.
mentioning that. I will go over to Grimtuck and I'll start pulling like splinters out of his skin and stuff and be like, you should really tend to those wounds, friend.
I mean, you think so? I was hoping it would scar up a little bit, but yeah, you're probably right. Thanks. I couldn't really get that one on my back.
You have like dirt in there and that's going to lead to
No, that's what gets it better. It
No.
clears it up quick.
that's what causes wounds to fester.
Nah, it stops the bleeding. I mean, you probably know better than I don't know. Do you think it's gonna scar up?
Yes, I think it will scar him.
Fucking A. That's badass.
But if you don't clean that dirt out of there, I think you're going to be turning a different shade of green
Oh,
and smelling worse than you already do.
I smell?
Wow.
What did I?
That's a joke,
Is
friend.
that like a shit monster?
That's a joke.
Oh, all right.
You haven't fought one of those in a while.
Yeah.
It's not since the orcs.
Yeah.
You remember when how bad the fucking frog monster smelled? I think it was shitting in that hole it came out of.
Wow.
I don't know how to unpack that.
I can assure you the inside smelled worse.
That's still too soon to.
It's not as bad as
I was inside as well.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, I pulled you out.
Yeah. I just went in with more hips to start.
Yeah, all right.
more hips.
I fucking forgot. Yeah, I pulled you out of that thing.
Uh-huh. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Are we done with our short rest?
I think so. Are we done with the short rest?
Yep.
Guys keep just adding on more.
I mean, you saved my ass when that thing ate me. That was pretty cool.
As we
again,
finish
Evelyn.
up our short rest and everybody loads up to get ready to leave, Amelia's eyes flash white and everybody gains 10 temporary hit points.
Right.
Including Spark?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's probably the most. That is fantastic for Spark. He has like 17 HP or 18, something like that.
Even better.
Now he has 28.
14.
Oh, 14.
So 24.
Nice.
If you guys had to guess which one smelled worse, would it be the frog monster or the garbage monsters?
The
Remember
garbage.
the
Garbage monsters.
You weren't there, Amelia, but there are these garbage tentacle monsters at the bottom of this keep. And I don't know why the fuck you would even put them down there. It's like, okay, you empty out your chamber pot, but then like,
They lived there, I think, and ate the trash.
yeah, that's, but like, they probably ate other shit too. But either way, they're garbage
Like
monsters.
us,
It's just-
almost.
I'm not, what?
With
No,
tentacles?
like
Yeah.
they almost ate us.
Oh yeah. They almost ate
Elduin.
They
Elduin.
almost ate you.
Yeah, almost ate Elduin.
Yes.
I saved him then too. Got 2 up on him.
Unfortunately, he is correct.
Why is that unfortunate? We're friends. You save your friends' lives
Friends
sometimes.
save each other.
That is true. I
Except
appreciate
my love,
it.
Elduin. Lays a big hand on his shoulder. It's not a threat to you.
Amelia again just does like the head cock. Like,
We're walking while this happens.
yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, you have
we're
you
on our
officially
way.
gotten up.
We're on our way.
You now, being into the forest that is no longer held by the protection of Elwyn, it is distinctly cold. It is almost midday, and there's still frost dotting leaves here and there. But as you continue forward, you notice that the trees begin to thin, and as the sun hits high in the sky, a glint of something catches your eye just ahead, probably about maybe 200 feet. You notice ahead of you sits a large lake.
Lake, you said?
Mm-hmm.
Does there anything like fanciful about the lake?
Oh, there's many things fanciful about the lake. I'm just saying you see water as you're still walking
Through
in the
the
forest.
trees.
Through the trees.
Gotcha.
You don't have a huge vantage point. You just have where the tree line ends. You see just the lake in front of you, which is very beautiful. It seems to shine.
Oh, nice. Now I can wash off my dirt wounds.
You can do that.
So, as you pass by, many things are seen. Let's start north. To the north of this beautiful, pristine lake, it seems to be a large mountainside that feeds the water itself by a huge crashing waterfall. And though that isn't what catches your eye at first. No, what catches your eye is the monolithic oak tree hanging suspended over the lake itself.
How does an oak tree hang over a lake?
It's like the roots are exposed in
Magic.
The curious thing about this, as it floats, the lowest roots, it's about 20 feet above the water itself.
the lowest roots are 20 feet above the water.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Defying what you all know about gravity in the world, the oak seems to be connected, though, to the mountains by long vines. It seems to be floating just close enough. It even obscures the waterfall just slightly, but you see it come down from the top, and then you see it crash at the bottom, past the roots. You also notice that light foliage dots the landscape around the lake, but there's a decent space from where you're looking where there's no trees around this lake. Instead, just a large ring of open, kind of just lakeside. You find a few other things interesting. This lake sits about, I would say in total, 2,600 feet wide, all around. It butts right up against that cliff face where the waterfall comes down. At the north side, there seems to be what almost looks like a mountain pass that goes up, kind of cuts through the two pieces of mountain and cliff, leads into a trail that's far out of sight. Then at the southern side, there seems to be about a 75-foot river where the lake feeds out. And you now sit at just about the western point of this lake.
I'm gonna use my super sight to check out that tree.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look real hard.
So roll a perception for me. This does also seem to be the river that may have fed the timber deeps that you had interacted with going over to Elwyn's glade.
That would be a dirty 20.
Dirty 20?
Yeah, looking for like any like aside from the fact it's a floating fucking
It's a
tree,
huge floating fucking
like
tree.
any kind of insignia on it, any creatures nesting in it,
Okay.
anything
Sure.
like aside from the fact that it's just a big fucking tree.
It's a huge fucking tree. About, I would say, a good, decent, like, third of the way up. The trunk itself, though gigantic, splits into 4 winding, spired trunks. Almost like branches, but they just break off. And then branches break off of them to fill out, like, and hold the canopy up.
Oh, it's like 4 trees and twisted around one tree.
You do notice something interesting just above the crown of the tree, the very top. There seems to be almost like missing foliage. Almost like a cut into the foliage itself. You can't see anything from where you're standing because it is still quite a ways off even with your beautiful sight.
Mm-hmm.
But you do notice that there is a distinct lack of just greenery in a whole area. And then you notice that 2 of the kind of winding trunks go fine and thin and wrap up and almost sit at either edge of the crown.
I'll tell this to the rest of the group, but mostly to like looking at Eldwin. Be like, just kind of explain the whole thing. Be like, what? Have you ever seen anything like this? You've been a lot of places.
Have I ever seen anything like this?
It looks kind of like an elf thing. Like I'd imagine this being.
You could roll, man. You can roll any nature check,
Okay.
but I'm gonna give you a disadvantage on that.
Okay.
Have I ever seen anything like this?
I'm gonna set the same setting on you, sir.
9.
You have not.
Rain has never seen anything like
No.
this. That's for sure.
I rolled double 3s.
Double 3s. No, neither. No one has seen anything like this.
This is how many miles? Is miles tall?
I would say it's not miles tall. It if laid across, it would probably be about the same width as the lake itself.
Yeah, miles tall. You could see it from anywhere.
Did we see it from the top of the?
Elduin did see this tree hanging high above the others from a distance.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
And you said that the lake is like 2,600 feet wide.
Yeah,
That's almost a mile.
Yeah.
that's half a mile.
Yeah.
Oh, it's 5,000. You're right. Okay, half a mile tall.
It's half a mile
Yep.
worth of a lake.
Should we go check that thing out or what? Like,
I'm not swimming there.
yeah, I was.
And you notice that as you're kind of looking at the ring of lakeside around you, you notice that if you go north from where you're standing, it butts right into the sheer cliff face. You do see that if you go around on the opposite side, you could get across the river, the 75-foot river, and maybe go to the other far side, maybe go up that path and see what's past there.
I mean, if we're that curious and you don't want to swim, Amelia can just jump you there. It's kind of badass. It makes you feel a little sick to your stomach, though.
You get used to it.
Yeah.
How far away from the shore is this tree?
The shore, it's about 1,000 feet from the closest edge where it butts up to the sheer cliff face. So it's for a big tree like it is, it's pretty close to the actual like cliff wall.
While everyone's looking at this, Grimtuck's just washing off his dirt wounds.
Okay.
Are there signs of life?
Nothing that Grimtuck saw.
Well, I would like to look
Sure.
because I have the Sentinel Shield.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't got these eagle
God, I'm
eyeballs.
rolling like fucking garbage. Yeah, 13.
13.
Yeah.
Other than normal everyday life you would notice in the forest, there doesn't seem to be much outside of it. And again, without his eagle sight, it's hard to see. You do notice a slight break in the trees above, but it's hard to see.
Oh, okay. So we haven't got to the lake edge yet.
You're just about there.
Oh, okay.
But Grimtuck's
You
watching
said it
himself.
was like way far away when he rolled his initial check, so we would be much closer. So that's why I was asking.
A word. I mean, you guys get past the trees, up to the lake edge.
Okay.
That's why Grimtuck's washing himself off.
Mm-hmm.
But he also has a crazy thing
Right,
with
I
his
get
eagle
that.
sight.
Which you guys may or may not know. I don't know if I've ever told anybody that. So yeah, but my eyes also don't.
So then
eagle like they don't.
Elijah has crazy thing with his eagle sight that your characters may not know.
I don't know. I don't know if I have, but they only look like eagle eyes and change color when I'm doing that.
Okay, but they actually do. Good.
Mm-hmm.
Got it. I think that is a factor I don't think you've ever brought up.
I don't think I have because it never came up.
There you go.
It has never been like, how
That's
the
good to
fuck
know.
do you see that? No one's ever asked.
Yeah.
So, and Grimtuck isn't very self-aware. So,
Are there signs of civilization or anything? Because there's like path. Are they like just like worn paths?
Oh no, it seems like initially a worn path, but it seems well maintained on the far north side.
So it looks like it was.
Used.
Okay.
It may have been natural initially, maybe like eroded, but it is now well worn.
Are
And
there tracks about?
ooh, do me a favor and roll me that.
That good survival?
Yeah.
I'll assist if you want.
That would be
'Cause
fantastic.
I am proficient.
You see any signs of people?
I'll help you look.
I want to go up to the
Grimtuck,
water.
when you start washing off, do you like get in the water?
Yeah.
16 or
Like knee,
yeah, 16
almost
Dungeon Master.
thigh deep.
When we first approach and Amelia sees Grimtuck get in the water and start washing off, Amelia will strip down and just dive right into the water.
Got it. Grimtuck, just for a note, so I have it in my mind, and so the listeners at home do as well. What is your original eye color?
Let me pull up the artwork. That is a great question.
While Amelia takes a bath in a lake.
Brownish auburn-ish
Okay.
color.
When it goes to eagle vision, it goes like just almost stark yellow.
Yeah. And it looks
Yeah,
like
the
eagle
the
pupils.
actual like everything, the eagle, the ring of yellow grows to the full eye, and just the shock black gets much bigger in the pupil itself. And then Amelia strips and jumps in.
Mhm.
Mask on still?
No.
No. Okay. You
Is
all
this
see?
the first time we've seen your face?
No.
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 Okay. Right. Never mind.
Well, oh, fuck. Why not? Hood up, jump in,
Okay.
swim too. Makes more sense that way.
At this point, are you three doing anything?
I was looking for tracks when I rolled a 16.
Oh shit,
16?
that's right. I wouldn't jump in. I was looking for tracks with you.
You were.
Apologize.
So you hear a
Retcon.
splash as you're kind of looking around, and you notice there are a decent amount, some of them much older than you'd expect, but the ground is pretty soft, and there hasn't been a lot of rainfall since you've been out here. So tracks hold pretty well in. There's a lot of different kinds,
Sure.
ranging from like boots to paws to odd tracks that almost look like four-toed feet, large four-toed feet with weirdly circular pads at the very tips.
And I wouldn't. Would I recognize these tracks?
Roll me a nature check for those tracks.
Would I know what furbo tracks look like
Sure.
inherently? Okay.
Yeah. Large and giantish feet is
18 for the nature check.
18.
Yeah.
You don't know exactly what this is because it's so big, but to you it looks very familiar, like very similar to like a gecko or something like that. Some
okay.
you know, small lizards have odd pads of feet. You even notice that it does seem to have like a claw mark ahead of it,
Okay.
but this is really big.
I was not. Thank you.
Yeah.
The reptilian part was not. I didn't make the connection.
Yeah. So
Okay,
three.
now I
so
got
it's
it,
three
yeah.
and then one.
Got it.
And they have these circular pads at the front.
Is there more going in one certain direction around the lake, or
Most of it seems to be going towards the sheer wall, but there are a few that go the opposite direction. I would say the majority, though, specifically the majority of those large tracks head towards the sheer wall.
we should go this way? These tracks, there's a lot. There's lots of tracks. I think we should head that way. And there's pod tracks, which I would assume are tabaxi.
You could assume. They looked similar
Are there
to
furbo tracks?
large,
Okay.
very, humanoid feet, but definitely in the larger sense, yes.
There's boots and paws and furbo tracks and
Oh my.
lizard tracks. Yes, oh my. But I think we should go this way because the majority of them lead that way.
It's not a bad plan.
Amelia is still in the water, if I'm not mistaken. Do you,
Yeah, she like dives in and just starts like washing herself off.
as you're in the water, you notice the water is pristinely clear, more even than that around of Elwyn's Glade. This is just, you can see almost to the bottom where you're
What
waiting.
about compared to the water on the mountaintop?
Very similar.
Ooh.
Yeah, she would dive in and just like wash off all the grime from being swallowed by the plant creatures, and that's basically what she wanted to do. And once that was done, she would like climb out and get dressed again.
Okay. As you're all kind of looking around, you hear this odd sound at first, and then I would say Rain and Elduin, make me a perception check. Visual specifically, if that matters for you.
Yeah.
7.
7,
23.
23.
Yeah.
Rain, you don't notice that you're kind of enthralled watching Metolius and Grimtuck do their thing. Find tracks.
Watching us bathe.
No, you're tracking things.
We were looking for tracks.
The only
I
person
mean,
being
either way.
yeah.
I bathed first. I was just kidding.
Elwyn, you see something off in the distance, high in the tops of the trees, kind of fly off of it. Like, at first it looks kind of like a bird. But then it kind of wheels around and a few more come out behind it like a flock. But you notice the wings aren't flapping. And then you notice that as it kind of like spins and turns back around, as it starts heading in a similar direction that you are, the figure itself grows larger.
Like coming towards me, or it looks like it's the same distance and growing larger?
It looks more like it's coming towards you.
Okay. I'm going to say, hey, does everyone else see that up there?
I look.
The people who are not bathing. Well, actually, you're up just washing yourself off, right?
Yeah, I just like dive in, scrub myself off real quick,
Got it.
And then
hop out.
You all hear Elton.
So I'd say I guess maybe I'm like putting my
Sure.
gear back on as this happens.
You all hear this and look up, and as you do, you'll notice 5 oddly winged shapes. It's hard to tell because it's almost right against the midday sun. So they're kind of blanked out and blacked out. But you see wings, you see 4 limbs and long tails as they kind of wheel about and just follow almost wind currents. They fly out ahead of you, and then they kind of disappear over the trees for a moment. Then you notice them spin back around, and as they kind of break back over the trees, now not in front of the sun, you notice these brilliant blue scales. And then you notice these beautiful red and orange and yellow wings.
Do I recognize what these are?
One more nature check.
Blue Dargans.
Probably not.
I'll give you advantage because this may have existed on Evermeet.
13.
Well, to you they kind of look like flying lizards, but they're huge comparatively. You know flying lizards are like no more than a few inches long. These are horse-sized.
Does this look like a gigantic coatl?
No, it has 4 limbs.
Oh, right. It's got 4 limbs.
I think I found what made these tracks.
As you all look up, you see it turn around, and now as it gets just even more closer, as the size comes into view, these 5 creatures, you now notice pairs of feet on either side, like a pair of feet on both sides of the body. So each of them seems to have 2 legs propped on either side, like a rider.
Should we arm ourselves? Is this thing gonna try and kill us? Everything here tries to kill us.
Lord, what kind of peoples are riding these things?
It's hard to tell because they're above you.
Oh, I thought they were coming down
Okay.
toward.
Well, I mean, I'm gonna
They
have
kind of like wheeled out over the trees and came back around, and now are just seemingly, and never once do you see the wings flap. For a moment, these odd creatures kind of wheel back, and then as you hear this odd guttural sound, all 5 of them take quick action, and the wings peel back just slightly, and they start to not dive, but kind of move, not dive bomb, but dive kind of towards you in a very fast motion. They seem to use this odd, almost floating, gliding pattern to follow each other down to the side, and as they do, moments go by until they finally get just above the water. You now notice 5 individuals.
Definitely arming myself on their way down.
You see what looks to be a green-skinned woman sitting on the very front one, a large glaive in hand. You see behind her what looks to be maybe a dwarf with blonde hair. You see a furbolg that almost is tinged green, like moss. And behind that, what looks to be a brown-furred tabaxi. And followed right behind is this beautiful woman with almost robin's egg skin and ice blue hair. And that same guttural sound seems to come from the one in front. As she turns, she kind of leads the lizard to the side. The wings flush out once again, catching the wind, and it's able to move. It flows down and glides to the side about 30 feet off from you and lands. And you hear a heavy thud as these creatures land on all 4s, their pads sinking just slightly into the ground, flattening out.
Do they like gallop a few feet as they land?
Sure. They like land and just, and as they do, their flaps, once wings, now fold firmly against their body, leaving just that beautiful, brilliant blue scale shining in the light. And the green-skinned woman, large white tusks on either side, kind of a shock red hair tied very tightly, no hair except for the very top of her head. She's covered in these just beautiful bits of leathers and furs, and that glaive looks like it's made of just a sapling put together with this beautiful ebon stone. She steps off, and she kind of throws a hand up and gives a motion, and all 4 of the others stand off. Step off of their mounts. And she moves forward, and the other 4 do the same.
I greet them.
hail and well met.
Oh,
You hear this gravelly voice kind of look at you as the orcish woman kind of steps up to you, close enough, probably about 15 feet away now.
I spent my whole life around orcs in the forest. Is this an orc?
Yes,
full orc.
full orc.
Fork.
Jesus.
Fork Jesus
Fork Jesus, man.
came to save your pie from the sins. I don't know.
Hashtag
shut
no.
up.
No,
I'll
not
shut
even
up
gonna say
now.
it.
Anyway,
No, she stands there, and as you say, hail and well met, she looks at Joel and goes, I believe
I
that...
say it in orcish.
Oh, she responds in kind. She goes, I believe you may have been lost, and I recommend you quickly turn around and head back the way you came.
Amelia dons her gauntlets.
Okay.
Do you speak orcish, or are you just?
No, she just would have like seeing them approach and like not being like seeming friendly, She would have just like donned him.
Faye.
You see her holding the glaive to the side behind her, like prepared but trying not to point it towards anyone. And the others all have their own weapons.
This would have been like part of Amelia like getting dressed. She gets
Yeah.
dressed and then like puts her gauntlets on.
You're like, we have come too far to turn back. We'll be going nowhere. Also in Orcish.
And you see
I
her
will
kind
switch-
of...
I'll switch to common and I'll quickly say, we come from the southwest, from the timber deep villages and the glade that lies within. The creature that lives there told us to find this place. And no, we will not be going anywhere but up.
First off, roll a persuasion check. Second off, she kind of looks at you all and goes, "What business do you have here?"
Unicorn business.
Our
The
business.
fuck does that mean?
Still in
I don't
Orcish.
say that in character.
Still in
gonna-
Orcish. Just our business is our own.
I'm gonna stand behind Metolius and
25.
Grimtuck like the bassist on a cover album.
Are you trying to help him or just being there?
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm just gonna be there,
Okay.
like with my big bass longbow,
Yeah.
and
That bass
It's
long
funny that the
Stand up longbow.
Generally.
that whole exchange is very on point for bassists as well. Are you just gonna do anything? You're just gonna stand there.
just gonna stand there, observe.
And in common, actually, no. Responding in Orcish to your wonderful barbarian, she kind of looks at you and goes, "You should keep your dog reined."
Sheath your weapon before I find a place to sheath it for.
Where the hell do you think I can sheath something like this?
I could take a few guesses.
Now kiss.
Roz, as a person, wants to make a joke. DM's trying to keep it together. 1 sec. Okay.
Serious time.
Serious time.
Serious innuendo.
She kind of stops as he says that and looks at you and goes, "Maybe you'll be a little bit more reasonable. In common, what business do you have here?"
We have come to find the truth on the wind. And we were also sent here by a unicorn, if I didn't make that clear before.
You see her kind of look at the others. And kind of take a moment.
Let's just say it's gotten very cold outside, and we would like to do something about that.
Well, I believe that I have a person who would like to talk with you then.
I thought she might.
But before seeing her, please rein it in.
Just spit on the ground.
You hear just like Snorkin, just a huge spit and just responds in kind.
Dude.
And she gets back and walks back to her lizard and jumps on, pointing to you, Metolius.
Yes.
"Come, we'll bring you up."
Look at Metolius, and that went really well. Normally they call me half-breed.
Metolius just gives you a thumbs up.
You hear in Sylvan next to your ear, "That was intense."
Yes, it was in Sylvan. Like lowly.
So the five all gather upon their steeds and seemingly move just back enough where you all could sit in front of them.
I'm the fucking little
Do you know how to ride a flying lizard?
I guess I don't.
Yeah, well,
Are they like double saddles where they just ride on the back one, or what?
there's no saddles.
There's no okay.
There seems to be seems to be
bareback and
reins.
lizards.
There seems to be reins but no saddles.
Bareback and lizards. I think we found
Yep.
a team name.
Wrong campaign.
So I was doing my whole life.
Yeah, so we little spoon our way onto these lizards.
How far away is the tree?
How far away is the tree? From where you are, it's what, about, if you guys got closer, probably closer to like 500 feet from where you are, but that would get you to like the very bottom of it.
500 feet.
From where we're standing, can we like walk around the edge of the lake?
No,
and
no,
get
like
closer?
if you were to go as like damn near to the wall,
Oh, it would be 500 feet
it would be
away.
500 feet.
Got it.
Right now, if you're out just at the opening, like where you entered this area, it would be more like 1,000.
Got it.
I will get on the orc's lizard.
And she wraps one
Unless
arm.
Grimtalk goes for it.
Mm-mm.
I did not think you
So-
were.
Mm-mm.
She wraps one arm around just to grab the reins and pulls it back. And the others do the same, letting you.
When she does that, I just like mouth the words "so strong."
You hear that little voice kind of and the head kind of peek around and say, "What'd you say?"
I just shake my head.
Does one of the riders look like they're like arcane or like a serious spellcaster?
No, none of them do.
Okay.
They all look to be more warrior, physical warriors.
Okay. I will get on random warrior's steed.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's a full rogue. There's a blue-skinned lady. There's a tabaxi,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a dwarf.
I'll go blue skin lady.
Got it. She also then in turn wraps one arm around you, grabs the reins.
I'll go to backseat.
Okay.
Dwarf.
I figured. Amelia.
Yeah, whatever's left.
Furbolg.
She kind of hulks, not intentionally, but is much larger than you, but her green mossy fur kind of reaches around and grabs the thing and kind of pulls it back. In a moment, with one crack of the reins, the lizards are off, dashing straight at the wall. Just full bore. And it's interesting. It feels not uncomfortable, but it is definitely a task to hold on with just your legs. And then, like a hand grip on the side of the lizard's head. And it's odd. It's not slippery, but it's definitely not... It's not... There's not a lot of friction between your hands and the scales.
Are they flapping their wings now?
No.
This is weird. It's like Superman.
Yeah.
They don't flap their wings; they just glide.
Yeah.
My monster lore is lacking. I don't actually know what these are. So,
Oh, they're based on real flying lizards.
Yeah. They're flying lizards.
but they don't go up without flapping.
Oh no, just wait. That's when this happens. That's when you're about, say, 15 feet away from the wall, as the orc isn't even blinking. She's just riding that lizard straight into the wall, and then with one, you feel a kick at the side. And as that orc kicked the side of the lizard leaps off the ground and leaps straight at the wall, and in a moment, it is flush against the wall and is scurrying up it, the pads of its feet sticking to the stone itself. As it begins to rise, one after another, all five of you, and it takes a lot. You feel yourselves kind of sink into the riders behind you
Yeah.
as this happens, but they seem adept at this. This is like every day, and they don't even move. You actually feel almost like you're on a platform as they kind of move up the wall. They scurry up it. You see across. You can see just
My muscles working
Yeah.
overtime.
you see the kind of just like flush of water, and as the waterfall off to the side kind of pours down, you even notice what's weird is at the very base of the tree there seems to be a hollow that you can now see as you're closer to it, but you don't exactly know what's going on. The only other parts are high up, but there seems to be a hollow point in the tree itself. But as you get about 3/4 of the way up the wall, you can look down and see huge, like just a huge distance below you. If you were to fall from this height, you probably would die, at least fall unconscious. And then once again, a swift kick to the side, and that lizard releases, and with its back legs kicks off and does a twist in the air. And then with the sound of sails hitting wind, catching that, the wings fly out, and you begin to glide across to the tree, one after another in this formation. Again, this is something they've done repeatedly. Moments later, slam onto the tree and just scurry it up. As you move higher and higher, you break through a few layers of foliage now out of the actual trunk and into the branches, into the offshoots. You notice that above you, it's interesting. You see a break. That break that Grimtuck saw is now high above you, and between it, you see this gargantuan piece of plate fungus, ones you would see here in Oregon. You see it on the trees. You see tiered levels. You see one huge piece on the side that you're climbing up, and then her lizard jumps over to the smaller kind of winding trunk, and you're now able to see as you go up higher and higher. You notice that there's tiers, one, then two, and now three tiers, all kind of graduated up on either side of these huge, massive trunks that spiral up to the top. And on each of those, they're quite far away, even on these small offshoots. But you notice something. They've been carved, pulled off, broken down. And now you notice movement. You see people. You see houses. There's a city up here. And as you walk up this wide, spindling trunk off to the either side of these beautiful tiered cities on this plate fungus, you notice that they almost have spider web like bridges across and ladders going down and ways of egress to move back and forth through all of them. And again, there's life here. You continue up as you see all this beautiful, intricate detail, and you see these wondrous places where people have made buildings out of the fungus itself. And you see families moving around. You see people running errands. It looks normal if it wasn't so high on a floating tree. Then you break one more point of the canopy into the crown itself. And you see this beautiful, almost hollowed area. It's sequestered away. It's hidden. Very little light gets through except through the canopy above. Little god rays flow down. And then you see a few large buildings around. You also notice something that was hard to tell from where you were, but in the very center of all of this, in the two giant trunks that spiral up, in the two offshoots that kind of wheel their way to the very crown of this tree, one singular, spiraling, almost branch seems to grow from the very base to the very top. And now you see where it ends in this hole. This beautiful white oak staircase goes down into it. You don't see where it goes, but it sets as a centerpiece this entire kind of sequestered area. There's a few people milling about, but as the lizards climb up and over and move towards it, you see this very large thatch building. Huge arcs of doorways in the front. And as they land and crawl over, you notice that the ground below is a mix of foliage, branches interwoven together, and fungus, all working to be a platform, a place to stand, a place where humanoids can walk. And that's when the orc climbs off, as you end in front of this almost governmental-like building in the trees. She kind of looks at you all and goes, "I believe who you search for is in here. Please follow me in."
On our way up, when I was not fearing for my life,
Yeah.
I would have asked her name and given her mine.
Metolius Blackthorn.
I,
My name is Rinza Burning Song.
Rinza Burning Song.
I am the general of this community. I am here to protect it. It is my job.
And it seems you do it quite well. Thank you for granting us entry.
Of course.
And you hear her whisper under her breath,
May the whispers on the wind guide you.
I don't know of any responding
There's-
phrase. Okay.
And be with you too.
so say we all.
And with you as well.
Yeah, with you as well. Yeah.
I just thank you.
And so it was written.
Over the course of this, you see her kind of call out to everyone. You see her call out, "Flo,
Iken, Zagella, and Gale. Dismount and bring our mounts to the stables. I will introduce our guests."
and you hear them all kind of call out and respond and say yes. As you do, as you follow Rinza into the building, these huge arched doorways, you find this beautiful scene in front of you. As you get inside the building, you see the ceiling reach just high into these tall peaks, but there is an interesting glow that emanates from the very center of the chamber, and a single figure stands at what looks like a basin made out of a hollowed trunk. The water in that basin glows with an ethereal light, and the figure, a female tabaxi, in a mixture of furs and very nicely tailored leather armor, underneath what looks to be a well-maintained cloak of some kind, stirs this basin and continues what looks to be a spell of some kind with a spear. And as she does, Rinza puts her hand up and stops you all, walks forward and bows before the figure, and you hear a murmur of something. It's hard to tell. It's a little far off. You can't really gather what they're saying, but you see the figure very lightly touch the cheek of Rinza, and that brings Rinza's form, who stands at least 6 to 7 inches taller than her tabaxi counterpart, up to her feet. And you see this tabaxi woman. She has bright white fur along the edges of her armor. You see her mane fur around almost looks calico-like, oranges and blacks and whites dotted throughout. You notice this large, very worn pink scar over one eye, the eyelid closed, but it looks to be empty. And you see these long dreadlocks tied back on her head. As she pulls the spear out and puts it down, the glow goes away, and the room, just now lit by the ambient light from outside, the woman turns to you all and says, "I am 5 Timbers of the Whispering Mountain Clan. And this is Violet Thicket, the bastion against the tyrannical rule of the family Etterwine. And I think that's where I'm going to leave this episode.
Hey everyone, this is Dix. Thank you for listening to another episode of the Swordcast Adventures. Be sure to check out our website, www.swordcastadventures.com, for maps and extra content from our episodes. You can also follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, all at the Swordcast, and you can also follow me on Twitter at JustTheDix. If you're into even more bonus content, you can go to patreon.com/theswordcast, where for just $5 you can hear Matt Allspock DM some of the cast through the Tomb of Annihilation. And speaking of more content, don't forget to tune into the Swordcast Adventures plays Waterdeep Dragon Heist every other Wednesday, when I get to sit in the driver's seat and run a group of hormone-fueled bar owners through life in the big city. You can watch our next episode of that live at 7:30 p.m. Pacific this Wednesday the 18th at twitch.tv/swordcastadventures. Also make sure to check out the DM Advice podcast, Help Action, where myself and 3 other DMs sit down every other week and spend our turn giving you advantage on your role-playing experience by answering your questions about D&D. Thank you again for listening. The next episode of the Swordcast Adventures will be releasing Monday, January 6th. That's all for now, and thanks again.